Hello, NWOBHM here. Today I've woken up today. What is it? It's the 12th of June. Sorry, it's not. It's the 12th of July 2025, right? I've woken up this morning. It's a Saturday morning. The sun's out. It's 25 degrees. Everything's good, right? And then I get checking one or two things out and discover some news that I wasn't really expecting. And that is that Sweet Savage have come back out of nowhere, really, I think, with a new album that's due out in September. 12th of September it's due out, another 2 months from today. I'll tell you a little bit about it, but before I do, if you wouldn't mind please subscribing to the channel, because that would be marvellous, big help. Hundreds of videos across the channel for you to look at, and this one being the current latest. As I say, I wasn't expecting this. Sweet Savage, new album, bang, due out 2 months, 12th of September. So yet another new wave of British heavy metal band from the old days that are still going, and that's always something to be thankful for, isn't it? If I remember my history, I've kind of lost track of Sweet Savage over the years, but let's see if what I remember is moderately accurate, at least, shall we say. Well, formed in 1979 in Northern Ireland, set out to make the mark on the NWOBHM movement, didn't they? And that early lineup, that initial early lineup, featured a young chap on guitar by the name of Vivian Campbell. Now we all know that name, don't we? Because he went on to join Dio, and after that he's been in Def Leppard since the early 1990s. So he's done quite well for himself, hasn't he? And whilst back then Sweet Savage bagged some tasty support slots and worked hard, they didn't have really too much to show for their efforts in the late 70s, early 80s. There was a single which I believe was a 1,000 copies limited edition, and a self-released effort of 4 songs, which I think, and this is where my history might be a little bit off, I think that those 4 songs were a session from the much missed Friday Rock Show. You know, we all remember TV on the radio, don't we? Well, you will if you were around at that time here in the UK. Sweet Savage, that was about it for them back then. They'd split 1983, though little did they know at the time that Killing Time single, that limited edition single, that had changed things quite a bit for them. A few years later, Metallica issued a single. I think, was it The Unforgiven? I'm not much of a Metallica fan, so forgive me if I've not got that right. I think the Metallica single was called The Unforgiven, and the B-side was Killing Time, Sweet Savage's Killing Time. And you know, we all know, don't we, that Metallica have covered all sorts of bands over the years, but Sweet Savage had that done for them. And that B-side, you know, that cover of Killing Time, interest in Sweet Savage was heightened. Struggling to find a word there. And you know, things took off again. The band would reform with original member Ray Haller at the helm, and a guitarist by the name of Simon McBride, who is currently in Deep Purple, of course, has been for the past few years when Steve Morse stepped aside. 2 albums would follow in the 90s, and then Sweet Savage disappeared again, but reformed, I think it was 2008ish, and the last studio album was Regeneration 2011, I think. But here we are, some 14 years later, and I get up on a Saturday morning in the UK to discover that Sweet Savage are back with a new album titled Bang, due out on the 12th of September. Ray Haller's still there with Marty McCloskey and Phil Edgar, and there's a video out for the title track, and it's all like fast, hard, heavy, powerful, and quite in your face. Hard and heavy, a bang indeed, shall we say. Ooh, that was shocking, wasn't it? That was terrible. Anyway, it's available for pre-order. I'll put a link to it on Amazon in the description below, so you can go there and pre-order it from there if you want to, but of course other outlets are available. The usual digital and physical formats available for pre-order, so why not do it? I have. So that's Sweet Savage and Bang. Look forward to that in a couple of months from today. Please do subscribe to the channel before you go, if you wouldn't mind, because that would be a big help and, well, excellent. And until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and take care.